Are you wondering what is the difference between these new kind of TPU tubes versus older style butyl rubber tubes, and which ones are the best and which actually maybe worth upgrading to these? So actually, yep, I can actually highly suggest this upgrade if you are wondering. In fact, actually this third time actually getting these tubes and installing on basically my bike. So on this bike I have had it basically for around 700 kilometers, and I have another e-bike where I have had them for around 400 kilometers. So, and I'm currently installing this on this very old like mountain bike that also I want to save weight on. So first, probably the biggest difference actually is the weight on this. So for example, for like 26-inch mountain bike, so regular rubber tube basically weighs a bit over 200 grams essentially, while this one only 56 grams, actually when measured only 55 grams, so literally like 4 times like weight difference just from the tubes alone. However, if you obviously get it for road bikes, then the weight is absolutely crazy, so around 20 grams only, or some even less essentially. By the way, if you are looking to get these tubes, I'll leave a special discount link in the description that you can use to get these for absolutely crazy price. So I literally paid only around $6 for a pair of two. So for the singles, I think they cost only literally like $3 or $4. Also, so it's actually mega cheap as well. And I think basically this brand actually is probably the best from the very affordable ones that is still decent. I know there are some other TP tubes, but again the quality on them maybe isn't the best really. So I think these are probably the cheapest, yet actually still very decent quality tubes. And for this price, like literally $3 per piece, essentially with free shipping, I think they're absolutely insanely good. Okay, and what about the ride quality when you compare these tubes versus regular old school tubes? So actually it really depends on what kind of tubes you actually had previously on your bike. If you already had very good, very expensive like butyl tubes, then I think the actual like feel will be pretty much the same as on these. I know a lot of people claim that these are actually like even better feel than the butyl tubes, but again I guess it simply depends what kind of tubes you had. If you had maybe like mid-range butyl tubes, then maybe these actually indeed feel slightly better. But again, if you already had very good nice tube basically inside, then I do not think you will see and find much like difference in feel. Okay, and so what about the durability on these, since these are obviously so much lighter and also so much thinner? So when it comes to durability, obviously the king probably is the butyl tube, so can't beat that. However, I would say these are probably the second best when it comes to durability and also ease of maintenance really. So I think when you actually install them properly and when you ride them, I do not think you'll actually have any problems. So I think they're probably just as durable really. Where the problem is, however, installation process. So you actually have to be a bit more careful with these when you actually install them on the bike, as not to twist them in any way, or again, yeah. So again, I think where most people fail is when they simply install them. Also, when TPU tubes also first came out, a lot of them actually suffered basically in this place where the like valve stem essentially mounts with the tube itself. So basically, as you see, it obviously would be more fragile than on a rubber tube, but with time I think the most manufacturers have fixed this problem. It's actually fairly durable, so including this one. So again, so I have had basically these on two bikes for a total of around a bit over 1000 kilometers. So again, so far I haven't actually had any flats on these or also like any issues with those. So I would say when it comes to durability of these TPU versus butyl rubber tubes, essentially simply be more careful when you install them, and if you install them properly, I do not think you will have any like difference in the durability. Okay, so what about air loss on these? So I think it also depends basically what kind of like rubber tubes you previously had. If you had maybe like mid-range tubes or again low end, then maybe the like they would be feel pretty much the same. But if you had more high-end basically butyl tubes, I think the like air loss actually is definitely like better on the rubber tubes. So but again, it's not that huge difference. Maybe I would say after using them, maybe like 20% difference. So these again, you don't have to take much care of them, so they do not lose obviously much air. But this one again, again, so I do not think there's that much difference. So if you obviously compare these TPU versus latex tubes, which also are very lightweight, then obviously these are little like 10 times better. So yeah, there's no question about that. So these are way better than latex, but again, the weight is pretty much the same as latex, and actually even less actually. So yeah, when it comes to air loss, so I do not think you will have to worry about that as well. So if you're considering upgrading from your rubber tubes to these TPU tubes, then I can actually highly suggest this upgrade. For example, on this old mountain bike over here I have, again, I'm saving literally 400 grams just from changing my tubes. That's absolutely insane. So on no other like part of the bike can actually save so much weight. And again, it's also very cheap upgrade. So literally like $6 for a pair of two if you follow the special discount links to get such crazy weight savings. And again, so when it comes to like durability and also ride quality, again, I do not think you have to worry much about these. They are really just as good. Anyway, good luck.